all the way. Well, Parramatta in this game played superbly, 5 tries to 1 against North Sydney. At half-time, Parramatta led 15-5, and what a great sight the ground was, although those terrible portable loos, 10 of them around the ground, made me ill to think that a first-grade team's got to have to do that, and I don't know whether to applaud the council for putting the loos in or bag them for having to do it, because the ground facilities are so awful. Well, yeah, consider the alternatives. Parramatta played superbly, a very tough opening 25 minutes with Norths giving everything. It was basically the Parramatta defence, though, which won the game. Norths made breaks, but there was always plenty of cover. The omission of John Gray, I thought, cost Norths guile and skill in the game, although Phil Ritchie, as hooker, played quite well. Curiously, Mark Graham wasn't seen to advantage in attack. No doubt the omission of Gray contributed to that. Ray Price and Eric Growth were the giants of the game. Each scored 2 tries, and Price was, as usual, everywhere in defence. The use of Eric Growth through the forwards at times was absolutely deadly. He made long runs every time he handled the ball and carved like that, right through the middle of North Sydney forwards. Norths can play better. I don't believe Parramatta can play much better than that. They were absolutely formidable on the day. Sterling, Kenny, Ella, Phelan, Wynne, Hilditch all played well. For Norths, none better than Mitchell Cox.
Well, it would appear that Norths just can't handle Parramatta because it was a repetition of the first round. Norths, they just can't cope with the Parramatta strength, particularly in the forwards.
I think a little bit of comment you talked about the crowd over there, Rex. I think it was a good idea of the North Sydney Club allowing the children on the field, and I think the children didn't abuse the privilege. My word,
they were well policed.
My word, well policed by the club.
7,000-8,000 in that ground, that's a hell of a lot of people.
We did see an occasion where St George played South one day up at Cogra Jubilee Avenue. You were playing right, and the children, but they certainly abused the privilege that day, and St George haven't let them on the field since.
Rocket, I enjoyed the comment from one fan this week talking about the Parramatta side. He called out Manly's the only side that can beat them, but they can't beat anyone else.
I think
it might be right too.
It might be right.
I think you've got to pay special mention to the way Price has played with quite a bad head injury. It shows his courage and no undoubted style. He played magnificently. And I think special mention for Mitchell Cox for his tackling effort.
Yeah, certainly he's a brilliant attacking player, and he showed his skill in defence with good, clean, low tackles.
Great stuff.
Yes, he's a top little player, no doubt about it. But this fella, Growth, look at this try. There's some pretty miserable defence there, but nonetheless, it's got to be scored, hasn't it? You still got to do what you've got to do.
Well, I hope the North Sydney fans don't desert the club now, because it's taken a long time to get them to that oval, and I would have loved it if North had put up a better fight against.
Well, I thought they put up a good fight.
You know, I think they can. Well, they'll win today for
They'll
sure.
come up.
You know,
that again. Like, they never got a big enough.
I'd say they learned something out of that game.
Of course they will.
But Parramatta too, Rex. But there were 2 or 3 occasions when forward passes which could have led. Indeed, one player did cross the goal line.
Could have been 3 additional.
Rocket, this is something that a lot of clubs should take on. They got the ball back 3 times from kickoffs last week, forcing the error.
Obviously, it's something they work on.
Out of the game, I remember that used to be in the game all the time. We used to vary kickoffs all the time, but geez, things get stereo in this game now, don't they?
They do. I think, you know, that sometimes maybe you want the ball back.
And not only that, being based around defence, if you boot the ball right into the corner and get them up on their line and keep them there, that's generally the...
You're on the
well, it's another thing that should never have been out of it.
Should never have been out of it.
This is a pretty useful tackle on McKinnon by Cronin, too.
Yeah. Acknowledge it occurred, Don.
Yeah,
that was the first one there. Which, still,
how long would you like me to be out?
I'll be back next week. It's no good watching those games, I tell you. I'd hate to be a coach, that's all I can say.
Well, as I've told other people, Rex, at the moment I've said I'm available if I'm picked. But really, I suppose I'll wait up when I get towards the end of the competition. The biggest thing I want to be sure that when I get over there I'll be fit to play when required, and I've got to be happy with my own form. So I know at the moment it's probably not a very good answer, but at the moment that's how I'm approaching it. I'll make my decision towards the end of the competition, but I've got to be confident in my own self that I'm going to be free of injury and playing well.
Have you had a few niggling injuries this year that have sort of held you back a bit?
Oh, not so much held me back a bit, but I just know that when you go to England, you've got to be prepared to train nearly every day and play 2, sometimes 3 times a week. You know, it's Sunday, Wednesday and Sunday, and I don't want to be going over there unless I'm fully fit.
I can play whenever required.
And confident I can play well, yes.
Easy to get back in condition.
Terrific, no problems.
You had quite a solid game too, you got a few good solid hits in it.
Yeah, I ran out of petrol a few times here.
That's to be expected, it's been a long while, eh?
Yeah, too long.
What, 13 weeks was it? Out of first grade?
Yeah, around about that.
Yeah, well, you don't suddenly get first grade condition back again, do you?
You forget how fast and hard it is. Yeah. It really is a tough game out there.
Well, now, the problem of Price, of course, Stephen Edge will be available next week, and then you've got all the other forwards pounding around.
I might have to do something to a few of them fellas to get back, I think.
You reckon first three at that stage? The soap on the floor or something like that?
It's a tough game, and I've got to get something to get back.
Fine. See, with Ronnie, he's been out 10 weeks and hasn't been able to run. So that's really a feather in his cap to complete 2 games back-to-back and just about go through this first-grade game and play a fine game with a... It's just a credit to him that he hasn't been able to train, really. And
you're going to be faced with a pretty horrendous selection problem shortly, I would imagine, with him back. O'Reilly seemingly going around pretty well in reserve grade. All your other forwards fit. You've got about 10 first-grade forwards.
Well, we hope they're all fit, but we're going to face that problem. But see, it's often tough to know
who to leave.
That's the question. It's not who to put in. I'm happy with, with Illich and O'Reilly and the 6 I've got there. Yeah. But anybody I drop will have to give me a reason to cut them, not because somebody's coming back.